Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Monday, June 22nd, and we have crawled under the 40-day mark of the return of the NBA. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined today with Mr. Andrew Hansen. We are ready to dive into some serious KBO action for tonight and do a little quick review of the weekend and the PGA and everything rolling here. We're so excited. There's so much going on, and I can't imagine when everything comes back here soon, but it's going to be a blast. How are you doing this Monday, Andrew?
Oh, I'm doing well, thanks. I mean, how could I not be doing well with you got the hat on backwards? So if you're just listening somewhere, maybe on iTunes, check us out on YouTube. You can see Coach with his hat backwards. He's not happy about it. He doesn't like wearing hats backwards, but that was our bet. And Jim Furyk came through for me, out dueling Graham McDowell in the golf tournament. So here's the payoff. And we had a good, strong PGA pool. We had Webb Simpson and Abraham Answer in our player pool for the full tournament and for the weekend, and they finished 1-2. So hopefully some of our listeners did well. And like you said, big week coming up. More golf later in the week, but we got KBO to kick it off here on a beautiful Monday.
Absolutely. And I'd recommend everybody listening to listen on Spotify and all of our podcast outlets.
YouTube.
Without
YouTube
video.
only.
My pet peeve. Look how stupid it looks. I just don't like the look of the backward hat. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm old school, but it's painful, but I will. Hey, you did a shirtless show. I can certainly do a hat backward show. Plus, you got a free Millie Maker entry coming.
That's right.
So we'll talk about that on Wednesday's PGA show a little bit. Maybe you can preview who you're going to win the million with. I do get a cut of that million, I hope.
Yeah, I'll share some of that with you.
$20 probably, right?
Yeah, right.
But anyway, yeah, it was a fun weekend, some good sports, a great Father's Day. Really enjoyed my kids. I'm sure you did as well. And it was a really blessed weekend. It was very nice. My daughter got married on Saturday, which was amazing. And then with Father's Day yesterday, it was just terrific. So appreciate all the well-wishers too. A bunch of people posted and shot stuff over with congratulations. So I appreciate everybody for that. But it was a great weekend. But now we get to buckle down and get ready to make some serious cash this week. We've got podcasts for KBO today through Saturday, so 6 days in a row. We've got doubleheader PGA on Wednesday and Friday. Shane and Andrew will be attacking Wednesday, and so I won't be able to be on that show. You'll have to send me the Millie Maker entry, and then Friday, you and I are on there, I believe. So that's very good. So excited for that. It's going to be a great week. KBO's weather is clear as a bell today. No chance of rain. That's always a big plus. All the games start at 5:30 a.m. Eastern, so that's a plus. And that really helps us nail down that live before lock, 30 minutes before lock. So I will be on there 4 a.m. to 4:30 a.m. Dallas time to make sure we have our lineups secured in both FanDuel and DraftKings. So excited for that. I want to thank our two sponsors for bringing this show forward to you. That's MyBookie. Go to mybookie.ag for all your sports wagering and casino action and get the exclusive offer only for Coach Talk members that you can sign up at coachtalk.com. You get a 50% sign-up bonus up to $1,000 and a $25 free play. Also on TVG, that is our other sponsor we're very proud of. That's where the world watches and wagers on horse racing. Great Belmont on Saturday. The big favorite, Tis the Law, came roaring home for that victory. So that's nice, possible bizarre Triple Crown, sideways Triple Crown winner, but we'll see how it goes. You can get an exclusive offer there on a risk-free bet for $300. If you lose the bet, TVG refunds it. So hopefully you guys jumped on and did that, put the $300 on Tis the Law. You got a nice little bankroll there. So very good stuff. We also want you to ask you to follow us on social media. You can follow us on YouTube, where obviously we'd ask you to subscribe. You can watch a litany of our podcasts throughout the year. We've done previews for the NBA, MLB, and NFL that are already there that for you to watch. We'll redo some of those and update them right before, but there's some great listens, some terrific bankroll management and strategy shows as well. Also on Twitter at DFS Coach Talk, and I'm at Joe Sarvadi, JoeSarvadi. He is at Language Olympic, and Shane is at DET Sports Shane. And don't forget Instagram. That's where we're DFS_Coach Talk. Sugar Shane's been flooding out with a lot of good information. And like I say, jump on our YouTube. Dawson's been posting a lot of good stuff. We've got a lot of good podcasts there to listen to. Okay, that's enough of that. KBO, let's make the money. I love this slate. I love it. This is a 4 or 5 star slate. I'm just going to say it right now before you rain on my parade and tell me it's a 3, because you are Mr. 3, and I'm saying this is a good slate. So let's talk about the fact. We'll go game by game and do our thing, but I just want everybody to know, flexing from deuce on, lock washer, as my uncle used to say, lock washer. Put him down there, deuce on. He's 8,500 on DraftKings, and he on FanDuel 27. Lock and load. I just want to give you that before I let you jump in, because I think that this is one of those games where we're looking at 8 innings, 3 hits, 7 strikeouts. I'm just ecstatic over it. All right, man, we're going to go game by game like we always do, and I'll give you the mybookie.ag live. I'm logging in now, so it's live to the second odds, and we'll go and we'll let Andrew overwhelm us with incredible KBO knowledge. Where is it? Where is it, Andrew? I can't find it. I see Premier League. Everything, with all this stuff opening back up, it's flooding the MyBookie site, which is good. Okay, game 1. Here we go. Game 1 is the Hanwha Eagles 10-32 at the Samsung Lions 20-22, and the odds on that game are Samsung at a big fat -200, the second biggest favorite on the board, and the over/under is tied for the highest at 10.5. So this happens to be one of my key games, Andrew, but before I continue to take all of the audio space here, let's hear what you have to say.
All right. Well, I am interested in this game as well. And we don't usually stack Samsung, but I think it might be worthwhile tonight. Chad Bell is really struggling, the Hanwha pitcher. Lefties are hitting 375 against him. Righties are hitting 328. Righties have hit 3 homers. He's only pitched 21 1/3 innings, so he's got a really bad home run rate. So yeah. I like our boy Saladino here in the 3-hole, 4,700 on DraftKings. Remember, he's third base and outfield eligible.
Yeah.
W. Lee, 4,200. Now, the thing with him is he's only third base eligible. So if you want both those guys, you got to put Saladino in the outfield. Sang-Soo Kim, the leadoff hitter, is a little bit expensive, but he's 5,100. He's a good way to continue that stack. And the 2 and the 5 hitters they're in the mix. Ja-Wook Koo and Hak-Ju Lee, but they do have the lefty. So I would lean towards the righties, but if you're going to make multiple lineups, you should at least get Koo and Lee in one of them. So I'm all about stacking Samsung here, and then I do like their pitcher tonight, Chae-Hyung Cho, 7,300. So he gets some savings. He's not a huge power pitcher, but he does have 24 strikeouts in 32 innings. That's not bad. Right. And he gets to face Hanwha, And we know that they've really been struggling, like almost no team ever before.
Yep.
And they just waived their foreign hitter, Hoying, who, was struggling. He was batting under 200, but he did have 4 home runs. So another one of their power bats is gone. So in some of my lineups, I am going to use this Samsung pitcher, Cha.
Makes sense. I didn't go to Cha pitching wise, but I can see it as well. But I'm with you. I mean, it's very odd that we both like the little mini stack or stack of Samsung. We don't say that too often, but it's a great matchup. Bell does not look good in his first couple of outings at all, giving up the long ball for sure. And I'll tell you on FanDuel, if you guys follow us at dfscoachtalk.com and become a member and jump in our Discord, I release a complete FanDuel lineup. And I can tell you right now, I'm not going to share all of the players in there, but I'm going to give you these two for everybody because it's just such a great way to start your lineup. Obviously, you guys know I'm going with Deuce on pitching, but how about Saladino and W. Lee, the 3-4 hitters for Samsung, against their righties, against a bad Hanwha lefty? They're $9 and $8. So it's just a huge savings on FanDuel. And once you do that and line those two guys up, the other 4 spots you can get, pretty big time with some of the guys on there, some of the big stars in the league. So love the start of that build on FanDuel. Think it's a real bargain. I'm with you on a couple of the other Samsung guys as possibilities. Not going to pick any Hanwha hitters, but not enough to the point where I like the Samsung pitcher. But I'm with you, saying we're on the same page in that game for sure.
Okay.
All right, let's go to game 2. It is the Kia Tigers at 23-18 at the Lotte Giants 20-21. And on my bookie right now, you have Kia as a 185 road favorite, and the over-under in that game is 9.5. It's amazing in the over-unders. I still am just shocked by that. They're like always bunched together. There's always 9.5s and 10.5s. So different than the majors where they're all over the board. But this is one of the 3 9.5 games, and Kia is a pretty strong favorite here. So what's your initial take on this game? One of my favorite pitchers is taking the mound tonight for sure.
Yeah, I'll let you talk about him. I'm all about the Kia bats, though, as well.
Okay.
They rocked Jun-Won Seo when they met earlier. 7 earned runs, 11 hits, 3 homers. And Tucker wasn't even one of them. He went 2 for 3 against him. But I do like him here. And then the guys who went long against him who are playing tonight, Ji-Won Na in the cleanup spot. He's only 3,800 on DraftKings as an outfielder. He hasn't been hot lately, but I like the matchup here. And then S. Han as well, the catcher, is only 3,300. He went deep against Seo, 2 for 2 that night against Seo. So there's a good stack for you right there with 3 hitters. Yeah. And you could even go with the leadoff hitter, H. Kim. He just went deep in the last game. And MU, as we talked about, value first baseman, 3,500, lefty, going against a righty. He hit a grand slam last week. So I really like these Kia bats.
I'm with you. I think, no doubt you can dial up some Kia bats. They are my favorite stack of the night. So right off the bat, I like 3-4 guys at least, across the board in DraftKings. I think Han, the catcher, like you said, Yu is a great buy. Tucker, of course, and Ji-Won Na, too. I mean, they've got some guys, I think, that will take advantage of this matchup. And, I think you'll see the majority of my lineup being those stacks of both of those teams, Samsung and Kia. As far as the pitcher, he's my number 2 pitcher for the night, and that is Mr. Brooks. He's been steady for me. I mean, he's never like throwing shutouts, but he also never gets rocked. I mean, the last game is a perfect example. It was against the Dinos, who are tough, and he didn't quite make it to 6 innings, which was a shorter outing for him at 5 2/3. But he only gave up 6 hits. He did strike out 8 in that short period of time, and against the Dinos, that's really something to be said. And if you look at, when he plays lesser teams or mid-level teams across the board this year, 6 strikeouts, 7, 6. So you can count on him to get you some points in that category. Really, really good chance he wins the game. His whip has been super solid throughout the year, floating between 0.88 and 1.19. Just a real steady guy that you can feel comfortable with in a real conducive matchup, I think, for him to do well. So this will be the key game of the night for me, with both Kia bats and a Kia pitcher on DraftKings.
One more stat, which is nice for Brooks, is that lefties hit 360 against him, but this is not a strong left-handed hitting lineup. And Asyap Sun pinch hit in the last game. He's day-to-day. And as for the righties only hit 185 against him. And we know that most of the key hitters for Lotte are righties, so that's another stat that goes in your favor.
That is exactly right. That is exactly right. All right, game 3. We are going to go to the NC Dinos at 28-12 against the KT Wiz at 18-23. And we've got right now on my bookie, the Dinos are -149 on the road at KT, over under 9.5. What do we got?
Well, this is an interesting matchup because it's 2 expensive pitchers, power pitchers, and they faced off recently against each other, and neither one did that well. Rucinski had his worst outing, gave up 5 earned runs, 10 hits. Baekho Kang hit a home run against him, and the catcher S. Jang hit a home run against him. So I have some interest in those 2 guys as potential one-offs, but I'm going to mostly stay away from that matchup, as well as the matchup on the other side with Despaigne against the Dinos. He was a little bit better than Rucinski, gave up 3 earned runs against these guys, but Sungbum Na, is a guy that I would look at. If you're playing multiple lineups, he wouldn't be in my first lineup, but I like him a little bit. And then Jin Hyuk No, he had 2 hits against Despaigne. The problem with him is he's been out. He just came back on Sunday, and it looks like they may bat him 9th. So, if you want to get a low-owned guy batting 9th and you're willing to roll the dice on something like that, we've had a lot of success with Jin Hyuk No early in the season. So if you want to try to get ahead of the curve, you could go there. But in general, I'm just not going to get much exposure to this game.
Yeah, you know what? I'm with you. I'm not rostering Rucinski, and he has made a lot of my lineups this year, but he just really was flat the last game, didn't pitch well. KT has a few sneaky bats in there. I'm certainly not going to play any of the whiz bats against him because Rucinski is capable of throwing a shutout or close there too, but I just don't feel he's the best play tonight. On a different card with other pitchers, maybe he would move up my chart. He's probably 3rd or 4th on my list, so I still respect him, but I'm not going to quite roster him. Despaigne as well, he's on and off. I'm not quite in his corner as much. I'd lean more towards maybe rostering, Eb Lee, the left fielder, the number 2 hitter, or Sungbum Na, of course, but he's very expensive. I think, I could see that, but I'm not probably going to go there. It just seems like it is a lower scoring game, in my opinion. It's 9.5, which, there's 3 of them, but those are the 3 lowest. So not a big fan of it. I'll tell you, I posted a bunch of stuff in our Discord. I do that every Sunday because it's the day off for KBO, and I sort of do a recap of the week and put some standings and leaders in the league in different categories. And one thing that jumped out, and I know, Andrew, you had spotted it as well, is even though Aaron Altier's batting 8th still and batting real low on that order, his stats are good. I mean, he's hit decent homers. He's got decent steals. I have no idea why they keep batting him that low, but I guess why argue with it if he's doing well? But, for his price, batting that low, it's hard to roster him. But I can tell you the guy has really done a good job. If they ever have an injury or something where they move him up, I could see him as a 2-3 hitter. He'd be very much more conducive to making my lineups for sure. And then, like I say, on the KT Wiz side, I respect Rosinski just enough that even though Kang and Jang took him deep last time, I think he'll be a little bit wiser this time and pitch to him a little more carefully. So this is pretty much a pass game for me, but I have no problem if you want to roster any dinos.
Okay.
All right, game 4, Doosan Bears at 25-16, SK Wyverns 12-29. And right now on my bookie, we've got Doosan as the biggest favorite of the night. Even though it's on the road, they're a big fat -238, and it's 9.5. The 3-way tie for the lowest number. Again, as I said at the start, he's 100% play for me in all of my cash games and all of my GPPs. Mr. Chris Flexen, 2-1 with the 3.29 against a somewhat anemic SK team. Just love the fit here, and I think he's a lock.
Yeah, he's pretty much a lock and load for me as well. Love the strikeout ratio and the home run ratio. He's only given up 2 homers in 41 innings.
That's amazing.
That's superb. So I like him here against SK.
And remember, he was one of the top guys, for least hard hit balls against him too.
Right. And then on the flip side, we've got Doosan going up against a lefty who I would just call average with an ERA at 4.74. He's only given up 2 home runs. This is Tai-Hoon Kim. So it won't be a big stack night for me with Doosan, but Jay Cha is still too cheap. Our boy at first base, second base, 2,400. He has an 8-game hitting streak. 3 of his last 5 games, over 20 fantasy points. So, I'll keep plugging him in there. He can hit lefties. 2,400 is too cheap. So he's my favorite bat in this game. I have some interest in K Park, 3,500 outfielder. Because he's now they've moved him around. Sometimes he's in the 3-hole. Mm-hmm. So I do like him here to fill out some lineups as a bit of a price saver. And then Jae-Ho Kim will probably make some of my lineups. Their shortstop, he's 2,800. He's not a power guy, but pretty reliable to get on base a couple of times.
Definitely. And, for the listeners out there, be very careful because even though we've said it every time, I still mess it up. The DH for them batting 4th tonight in the, presumptive lineup is Jae Hwan, Hwan Kim. He's a lefty. And then batting presumptively 6th is the shortstop, also Jae Kim, but it's Jae-Ho, Ho Kim. He's a righty. So I always mix those guys up, and obviously so, being both Jae Kim. So just something to be aware of. I'm with you, though. I mean, Flexen obviously eliminates for me any SK plays. Jay Chot's still too cheap, even though he's creeping up. He's still going to make my lineups in that 5th spot. He's a good producer. Like you said, 8-game hit streak and just too darn cheap. No problem with you playing any of those other guys in the middle of the order. I think, Kim's not a guy I want to pick on from SK. He does keep the ball down and, like you had mentioned as well, does not get up a ton of homers. So I may go one-off with Doosan, a Doosan guy here, with Jay Cha being the main guy, and moving on to the next one and just hoping Flexen shuts him out.
Yeah, that would be excellent.
All right, last game on the board. Kiwoom Heroes at 25-17 at the LG Twins 25-16. We have, let's see here. Kiwoom is Kiwoom is the favorite, 149 on the road. This is the other game that's 10.5 over under. So that's a question is, does that mean more bats here? Is that a tip that we could get some more runs in this game? Are you stacking anybody here? What's the strategy?
Yeah, I'll let you talk about Kiwoom because I know you like those bats. But in the LG matchup, these hitters going against Juan Cha, he's given up 6 home runs, including one to Ramos this year. So I will have some exposure to Ramos, even though he's been a little bit off recently. And then
he's been a lot off recently, to be honest with you. I mean,
yeah.
I'm with you. When he busts out, he may hit 2-3 homers. Who knows? But if you look at his last 5-6 games, all single digits, no homers.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, he was battling an ankle injury, so
true.
He'll be good after a day off here. And then
could be right for sure.
Youngtek Park, only 2,000 in the outfield. The lefty career hits leader, batting 5th tonight. It looks like.
Yeah.
So another value option for 2,000 in the outfield.
Big value. Yeah.
And who do you like out of the Kiwoom bats?
Well, Kiwoom's my third mini stack. I don't think I'm going to have a hitter probably that's not for Samsung, Kia, or Kiwoom. Those are my 3 teams that I'm completely focused on. I debated for a long time with D Park, the catcher. They have him plugged in right now as the 4th hitter. He does have a ton of pop. He is a righty against this lefty pitcher, but we discussed a little bit. He's had a little bit of a sore knee, did get a day off. Could be a terrific play, but his price has just continued to balloon up and up. And I think I'm going to pivot away from him probably and stick more with Han from Kia as my catcher, but I do like him a lot. My main guys here are, of course, Jung-Ho Lee. I know I own him every slate, it seems like. But, I mean, I know it's lefty-lefty, but he can pound lefties. I think I love watching him hit against lefties even. He focuses, and he has a lot of pop. So I like him in this spot. I think B Park can be played. I definitely like Ha-Seong Kim, the shortstop as well. I think he's got a chance to get something done here, and he's only he's $15 on FanDuel. Not only, I should say, $15 because that's a little high. Jung-Ho Lee's only 14, so I think you can get him at a little bit lower ownership, and I still think he has a good chance to have a good game here. So really the middle of that lineup, 2, 3, 4, 5, I like all of those guys. Probably only going to go with 2 of them on FanDuel and probably whittle it down to 2 of them on DraftKings as well. But I think they're in a great spot here. I think they have a really good chance to bust out against this guy with a 7.78 ERA. And from the LG side, I just ran out of spaces. I mean, I get it. Ramos, you want to be on him when he busts out, but I just hate grabbing a guy when he's in a slump and keep saying, taking a shot. But he could do it. There's no doubt. He's dangerous in this matchup, as is H. Kim, the 3-hitter, Ji-Hwan Oh, the 2-hitter, and C. Lee, the 1-hitter. They're 5 lefties at the top of their order. And as you mentioned, Y. Park being a big bonus guy. So you got 5 lefties to choose from. Makes perfect sense if you want a roster. I think they'll get some stacks as well. But I'm not going to be on LG tonight, even though I think they've got the potential. I think Kiwoom is the play just because I think Young-Sik Kim is possibly the worst pitcher on the entire slate.
Yeah, he's a reliever. This is the first start of the season, so he may not be out there for too long. And right. I agree. If I was going to stack one of these 2 teams, I would stack Kiwoom. Like you said, 2 through 5, all in play for me.
Outstanding. Well, I think that is it. I don't have to wear this hat this way anymore, hopefully for the rest of the season. but it's been a little painful and a little uncomfortable, but I always pay my debts. Like for the old Game of Thrones listeners, the Lannisters always pay their debts. I remember the Game of Thrones days. It feels like it was just yesterday, and they're gone. They're done. Anyway, that's it. Do you have anything else on KBO that you'd like to throw out there?
No, I think that's it. But as you mentioned, if you want the full FanDuel lineup, then jump in as a member, and we'll also give you the full player pool on DraftKings. So we'd love to have you.
Absolutely. It's dfscoachtalk.com. Go there. That's where you can sign up. Remember, if you become a member, it's frozen until the NBA kicks off on July 30th. So you join as a week or a month or a year, whatever you want to join, and then you jump in here these next 5-6 weeks, whatever it is. I guess 5 weeks now. It's amazing until the NBA kicks off. You get to build up your stack with KBO and PGA. And then the clock will start ticking on your membership on July 30th. So we look forward to that. Again, thanks to MyBookie, mybookie.ag, tvg.com, and they're all over everybody's cable at TVG1 and at TVG2 channel. So great stuff. You can find their offers also on our dfscoachtalk.com website. And also want to mention our charity of choice. Can't ever forget them. Last night they had the ESPYs. Did you watch any of that?
Yeah, I caught the second half of it, and I saw the tribute to Kobe.
Yeah, it was an interesting ESPYs. It was perfectly expectant of what 2020 has been so far. Just bizarre and odd. They didn't really give out awards. They just sort of honored a bunch of people mainly, but. I was not looking forward, to be honest with you, to the Kobe tribute. I was hoping it wasn't going to be anything major because I just emotionally just so drained with everything. And then especially with him, it's just so hard to accept. Even watching that on Father's Day yesterday with he and his daughter, I mean, you can't get more gut-wrenching than that. It's just heartbreaking. And really, when you're removed from it for a couple of months, it's like, is that real? Is he really gone? And it's tough. But they just did tribute Snoop, the Snoop song, and did it that way, and then just faded out. So I thought, it was done well. But anyway, we support mambon3.org. That's MAMBAONTHREE.org. Fantastic charity set up by Vanessa Bryant for the surviving family members from that tragedy. So check them out and check us out all week. We'll be here through Saturday, a couple double headers on Wednesday and Friday, and we're excited. What do you think on the slate rating here? Don't you say 3.
I can go 4. Yeah,
hey!
I'm not ready to go 5, but I could support your 4.
Okay, I'll come down from my 4.5, and we'll agree to go with 4-star slate tonight. So that's money making. That's the go sign. So let's go after it. And I think some of our plays are going to be contrarian too. You're going to see a lot of Dino stacks. You're going to see some some LG stacks, stuff that we didn't really go on that I think will be contrarian enough that we can really take some stuff down. So join us. We'll give you the full lineup on FanDuel. Give you a nice player pool on DraftKings on our Discord. So fantastic, man. Any last words? Can I turn my hat around now?
After you hit stop on the report.
Oh, crap. All right, man. Well, thank you. Thank you all for joining us and listening in. Hopefully you listened in and didn't watch today, but you can always catch us on YouTube for the video. Fantastic. We'll be back again tomorrow, and we thank you for joining us today. For my co-host here, Andrew Hansen, I am Coach, and we will look for you again tomorrow when we look to crush it in KBO.